In a sense, they probably do. But in the same way that they prepare people for death, they prepare people for transformation. It gets you used to the idea that the world is not what it appears to be, and it gets you used to the idea that the world is somehow animate, intelligent, and proceeding along its own agenda. So in a way, shamans have always been anticipations of some future state of mankind. They're the masters of language. They're the ones who are telepathic with the animals. They're the ones who can see into the future. So this archaic nostalgia gets real focus once you realize that it is the shaman and his or her shamanic techniques that confers on them the extra historical dimension. That is how you get out of linear history. That's how you visit the realm of the ancestors. That's how you travel into the future. That's how you break up the tyranny of Newtonian serial time. We have 14 years until this event, measured on the calendar. And a really common, ordinary way to describe the times that we're living in is that they're very, very chaotic, filled with acts of unspeakable evil. And at the same time, there's this sort of buzz and thrust of optimism. Everything from a guy like Peter Schwartz talking about the long wave, big booming economy, breakthroughs in, educational levels and qualities of life. But it's definitely a dynamic where you've got extremes of good and evil in that way. Could you talk a little bit about the relationship between that dynamic as we go forward and the novelty continues to climax? Well, novelty is not necessarily good or nice. Novelty is complex. That's what it is. And so, I see really a concatenation of tendencies and forces here at the end. It's only going to get weirder. The level of contradiction is going to rise excruciatingly, even beyond the excruciating present levels of contradiction. And so, I think it's just gonna get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's gonna be so weird that people are gonna have to talk about how weird it is. And at that point, novelty theory can come out of the woods, because eventually people are gonna say, what the hell is going on? It's just too nuts. It's not enough to say it's nuts, you have to explain why it's so nuts. So between now and 2012, the next 14 years, I look for the invention of artificial life, the cloning of human beings, possible contact with extraterrestrials, possible human immortality, and at the same time appalling acts of brutality, genocide, race baiting, homophobia, famine, starvation. Because the systems which are in place to keep the world sane are utterly inadequate to the forces that have been unleashed. The collapse of the socialist world, the rise of the internet, these are changes so immense. Nobody could imagine them ever happening, and now that they've happened, nobody even bothers to mention what a big deal it is. The fact that there's no such thing as the Soviet Union, people never talk about it anymore. But when I was a kid, the notion that would ever change was beyond conceivable. So the good news is that as primates, we're incredibly adaptable to change. Put us in the desert, we survive. Put us in the jungle, we survive. Under Hitler, we survive. Under Nixon, we survive. We can put up with about anything, and it's a good thing, because we're gonna be tested to the limits. The breakdown of anything. And this is why the right wing is so alarmed, because what they see going on is the breakdown of all tradition, all order, all sanctioned norms of behavior. And they're quite right that it's happening, but they're quite wrong to conclude that it should be resisted or is somehow evil. The mushroom said to me once, it said, "This is what it's like when a species prepares to depart for the stars. You don't depart for the stars under calm and orderly conditions. It's fire in the madhouse, and that's what we have, the fire in the madhouse, the end of time. This is what it's like when a species prepares to move on to the mechanism on